WRVS-FM HD1 Elizabeth City State University. From the gridiron to the radio. This is ECSU Football Insider, only on WRVS 89.9.
Yes, Vikings, welcome to ECSU Football Insider. Of course, I am Clay Mercer, and we're rolling through the football season. And to talk about these Vikings, there's only one man I want to chat with, and that's the head coach of ECSU Football, Adrian Jones. Coach Jones, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back, Clay.
Listen, we are excited, obviously. The Halloween season is here, and it gets a little spooky around this time. I know some people celebrate it, some people don't. I always call it the unofficial start to the holiday season. But regardless, any special memories for you, maybe when you were younger or maybe even last year? Did you have any costumes that you used to wear, anything that comes to mind?
I really have never been a costume guy, but the memories just growing up. And I lived in a neighborhood that had a lot of people of color, and everybody went through that neighborhood and a couple other neighborhoods. And my biggest memory was having so much candy for the month of November, and you know that was the fun part, getting to eat candy as much as you wanted to.
And then heading into Thanksgiving, like that's just a lot of food to be thinking about. But yeah,
absolutely,
always a fun time, man. And I enjoy the Halloween season. Again, it's my official start to the holiday season, which is almost here. But more importantly, that means we're coming near the end of the football season, but it's all about picking up these wins. And the mighty Vikings were able to go in there this past Saturday and pick up a big win. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. But, Coach, speaking of the word scary, most of the opponents that we've had all season long have talked about the scary potential that this team has. And it's shown in flashes throughout the season. But this past Saturday, it seemed like it all came together, especially on the offensive side. Just talk about the team's mindset heading into the game Saturday and how practice went, especially going against the team that was desperate for a win. They haven't had a win all season.
It's all about our preparation. It's all about Elizabeth City State football. We know that we're a good football team. It hasn't shown in the record, but it's a process. It takes time. We're still getting to learn our kids, but what's funny is my defensive coordinator talked to our staff and players the other day, and we still have not played a complete game. We were very good on defense, we were very good on offense, and we were very good on special teams, but we have not played 4 quarters yet, and that's the scary part. Yeah, but we're going to continue to push the level of talent that we got on our team, and just continue to try to get better each and every week. And we talk about it now that like we're preparing for next year. Yeah, we want to go out and we would love to be 4-6, and you know they predicted us to be, I think, like number 9. Right now we're 6, and if we went out, we could easily be the 4th best team in the conference. So it's a lot to ride on the rest of the season.
Obviously, you want to pick up a lot of wins, and as you talked about before, we're preparing for next season. But you talked about this earlier in the season too. No, this season wasn't about getting ready for next season. This season, you wanted some wins, and so you can kind of build on this past win against Lincoln. And I think that's probably the mission right now, is to win these next couple of games.
Oh, it definitely is. Nobody wants to be scheduled for homecoming. I think our guys took offense to it. You know, at the end of the day, you know, when I was growing up, you picked the weakest team you could to play homecoming. But I don't think that's the case. But at the end of the day, our guys got to understand when someone puts us on homecoming, we got to dot our I's and cross our T's and show them that we're not a homecoming football team.
Yeah, and recent trips to Pennsylvania have been a little scary. There's that word again for ECSU. Obviously, a 3-game losing streak at Lincoln that was snapped by the Vikings' dominant 62-14 win. We'll delve into some of the highlights of the game in just a few moments, but an overall, as you just talked about, strong effort by the Vikings on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Preparation. Shout out to my staff. They did a great job of preparing our guys. What's good about our offense is one word. It's fun. You know, every week, guys, you had 9 different guys touching the football in the air. I don't think anybody in the country is doing that. Just a credit to my offensive staff, my defensive staff. We wanted to have a shutout, a fluke touchdown, and, you know, they scored. But we got to get a lot of guys in the game to evaluate them and, like I said, prepare.
Yeah, and that's important, too, Coach. When you look at what the Vikings have been able to do this season. I give a lot of kudos to the coaching staff because when you have a loss, it's difficult to take. Yeah. And you use that word fun. What has the coaching staff done this season to keep it fun and keep the morale high for these players?
Well, they feed off us, and always in our Mondays meetings, the first thing that we say is that they got to feed off us. So we come out there with energy, and you would never think that we are a 2-6 football team. It's just the atmosphere. They know they're good. It's just the opportunity. And there's a word that we talk about. You know, there's a saying that we talk about that I always tell our guys is that that you get to have success when you have success. And success and excuses are not in the same sentence. So we don't give a lot of excuses about why we're not where we at. We just try to figure out to be the best team that we can be.
Yeah, and it seems like the players are taking that on, and they still continue to fight hard and play well. And again, a lot of things came together this past Saturday. Going into the game, I knew there was going to be a lot of eyes on our quarterback, Chris Perkins. He followed up that performance against Virginia State, going 18 of 26, 258 total passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Talk about this guy's performance, and again, we talk about that potential. He just seems to be getting better and better as the season's going on.
Well, I say it again, that Perkins, when he was at Shaw University, he was a wide receiver. I mean, he knows the offense. He's been a quarterback, but he's still learning. He's still becoming a quarterback, have a quarterback mind, and he's done a great job of preparing. Coach Hess has done a great job of making sure we get the ball to the right people. He's completing the ball. He did a better job of completing balls this week than he did against Virginia State. So sky's the limit for that young man.
When you look at him, he has the athletics. It's all right there. A very athletic ball player, can use his legs, that two-way quarterback that we talk about. Is it right now for him to really flip that switch? Is it more about the mental side of it?
I think it's more the mental side that he has to come with the preparation. I think when he played against Virginia State, he didn't practice until Wednesday. So the preparation part is key. So we try, I think it was going to try to take him out and keep him out of practice a couple of days, but we can't do that. We're not that good to where he can sit out a couple of days and turn it on. So he understood that, even though he's been dinged up a little bit, you just got to fight through the wounds and be a true Viking.
Yeah, it's kind of at this point of the season, who's not dinged up? It's kind of like that, but the players continue to fight through it. And for this game, ECSU held a 34-7 lead at the half, and you always talk about how it's important to punch a team in the mouth. And I think that first half was not only a punch, it was a haymaker that you all gave to Lincoln in that first half. Their offense hasn't been lighting it up this season, let's just be honest, but they had a hard time moving the ball against this defense. And you talked about how well the defense played on Saturday. Did anything just surprise you about how the first half went of this one?
Well, no, we were looking forward to, they wanted to toss. They wanted the ball first. And our thing was, we talked about all week, is make sure they go 3 and out. They didn't go 3 and out, but I think it was 6 and out. They punted, and our goal was to score. The first, I think we're a very good football team when we can drive down the field and score on our first drive. And I think that was the momentum. They tied it up 7-7, but, we came right back with a big kickoff return. It got us, we flipped the field and we scored very fast. So that those things like that happen. It's hard to beat us.
You talked about the defensive mindset from the coaches. They wanted a shutout. Did they take this personal? Like, they just want to make sure that they put their stamp on any game they play in.
Well, it really takes. Really, our guys are really are hard on themselves. When that happened, I probably was the one that took it the hardest. I was absolutely hurt that they got that touchdown, but the guys feed off us, and you got to set goals to obtain, and even if you don't obtain them, you just try to do your best to be a complete football team.
Yeah. The second half was much like the first in a way. ECSU will score 3 more touchdowns. Terrence Holland, Joe Griffin, and a 9-yard touchdown run by Braswell. It all seemed to work out pretty well offensively. Did you feel as though with the practice sessions leading up to this game that this was bound to happen in Saturday? Well,
we knew it. We knew it was going to happen. You could hear our guys. Some of the Lincoln football players were surprised at what was going on, and we basically said we're the best 1-6 team in the country. Don't look at our record, because that record easily could be 6-1. We went in there like we were a winning football team, and we have a saying. it won't get easier. So become someone who handles hard well. And we have handled the hard situations well. And I think that the momentum going into the rest of the season is going to put some eyes on Elizabeth City State football.
This is coming up here. Obviously, you've been on the road. This will be the third game in a row that you have been on the road. But you talked about this team building and getting better and better. It's just something about the road. And you talked about it before where it's us against everybody. Have you felt that from the team? The camaraderie and just the teamwork just seems to get better when you're on the road in a way.
Yeah, you want to go in somebody's house where they're screaming fans and they're going for their home football team. And you go in there and they start screaming at the beginning, but midway through the game, you can hear a penny drop. That's what we want to do. We want to go in and take their souls. Yeah. And I think that's what we did, and we have a word called balance: build, align, lead, adapt, navigate, communicate, and execute. And those things that we got from this company called Dream Builders. And, we talked about balance, and we stuck with that. And I just think our guys are doing a great job. Kudos goes to those guys for believing in this program and trusting the process.
Yeah, it's a big win for ECSU over a team that was desperate for their first win. The Tigers had a donut on that win side. It could be dangerous going against a team that's desperate enough to try to get that first win. But regardless, this is a big win nonetheless for ECSU.
It's definitely a big win. I mean, I don't really know, but I don't think it's been too many times that Elizabeth City State has put up 60 points on an opponent, regardless of the record. Like it's hard to score that many points, and I think that we showed that we're going to be a exciting football team, and everybody that got in the end zone and everybody that was a part of that are coming back next year. Our offensive line did a great job. I think only one of those sacks, we had 2 sacks. I think one was our offensive line. The other one was our quarterback just staying in the pocket too long and not, tucking the ball and running. But and then we got 3 guys that were all conference this week, players of the week. So that's big as well.
Yeah. You talked about how frustrating the season has really been because this team has been so much better. We've been in all of these games, a majority of the games that we played against. We just haven't had that win that we've been looking for. Was this really a statement game to let people know ECSU is on the come up and y'all need to get ready? Well,
it definitely was a statement game, and people need to realize that it starts with the culture plus the family, and that equals rings. And the games that we're losing, I can honestly say that everybody wasn't doing everything right. Being on time for the weight room, being on time for practice, wearing the right stuff on the road. Those things we eliminated this week. Some guys didn't travel this week that were starters because they couldn't follow the rules. And you got to set a standard in your football program, because if you don't, that's basically some of the losses that we lost were because of the discipline things. And that's what we're working on, trying to figure out our kids, make sure we setting examples. Some guys, like I said, didn't travel, and it hurt them that they didn't travel. But now they got to come back and earn that position, because we won a game, and the guy that played in front of him this week played a good game. So you just don't get your position back. We're just holding guys accountable and making sure their attention to detail is the key to a successful football team.
You've had a few days, Coach, to look over some video, obviously, from this game. Again, a great win for ECSU. Your overall takeaways from what took place this past Saturday?
The excitement on the sidelines. Our fans, we had fans there. We got Joe, who's a freshman that scored 2 touchdowns. We had 3 different running backs to score touchdowns. The 9 different receivers / running backs that touched the ball. Our defense played well. We got some sacks. We had 5 forced fumbles, and then the 3 guys that made play of the week. The big one was the blocked field goal and the scoop and score by Jamar Blake for 90 yards. That's just exciting to see those guys just play hard. And also shout out to Jeffrey Fortune. That young man on the sidelines is a defensive guy, but when he's on the sidelines, offense on the field, he is our biggest cheerleader.
Wow.
And he doesn't get to play a lot, but he played a lot on Saturday. And you saw spurts of that's what you want. True teammates that care about each other. And I say his name because every time I look at the film, he is jumping up and down, heckling the defensive players while he's on the sideline. That's what you want is like I said, culture plus family equals rings.
Yeah, and also experience, Coach. And there was a lot of players that were able to get on that field in this game. But again, you talk about the growth and getting prepared for what's to come in the future for this Viking program, but it had to feel good to see those players step out there on the field and do some great things.
It's always good to see your players do great things. And like I said, they practice well. A lot of the stuff that happened in practice, it happened in the football game. So I'm a firm believer you practice the way you play. And I think that we had a great practice last week all across the board. So that's what happens when you do that.
Yeah, well, we have a few Vikings that were recognized by the conference, just like Coach talked about. Plus, we got a little bit of rain here in the Harbor of Hospitality, and I'm wondering how that kind of mixes up this training and the practice schedule for Coach. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more about this Saturday's matchup in Maryland when we return to ECSU Football Insider.
Get your tickets now for ECSU football online at ECSUVikings.com. Let's get back to ECSU Football Insider online at WRVS899.com.
Back here, Clay Mercer with head coach Adrian Jones. Coach, rain coming down here in the Harbor of Hospitality, but this team still has the practice. It's a soggy field, but that might make some adjustments to the practice schedule. What do the Vikings do when the rain comes down and it changes things up a little bit?
Well, fortunately, we haven't had to worry about the rain. We've had rain before, but not like this. So today we won't be outside. Luckily, we have Williams Gym. We'll use Williams Gym, but it's called a strategy. You got to be strategic on how you plan. And so today we'll have our offense in there first for an hour with our scout team defense, while the defense is watching film, and then we'll flip it and do the same thing. That just keeps a lot of distraction, a lot of noise, so everybody can focus. And we just get a little bit more film time than we normally do instead of being outside. But we're going to still prepare for a good football team that's looking to win at their homecoming, but we got to focus and dot our I's and cross our T's.
As the season has gone along, have you noticed more of the players become more students of the game? They want to do more films. They might want to take some time on their own and watch the film and pinpoint some things, because we're our worst critics, so we always want to get better. Have you noticed that from the players?
Oh, absolutely. Last week, we always watch film in the morning. I watch film with the corners, and coaches watch film with other people, but I wanted to take a day where I could lay in the bed a little bit long, and I asked them, can Coach lay in the bed a little bit longer? And they was like, nah, Coach, you got a job to do. So they're really buying into it. I think the homework assignments that we're giving them, what receiver you lining up with, how many receivers catch the ball, how they run routes. I think that has helped us out a lot. And that's why I think you see that our defense is getting better, that they are students of the game now.
You talked about this season, the team learning how to win. They're right there in pretty much every game that they played. Have you noticed that we're getting closer and closer, again, to that that switch flipping and them learning how to win the big games? We
definitely learn how to win the big games. I think, like I said, it's a process, man. But my hat goes off to our kids that are buying into our system and continuing to work hard. A lot of teams that got records like this have pretty much tanked it. And I don't think our guys have tanked it. They realize how good we're going to be, and the future is bright for us. We got to win out, because everybody wants a winner. We went out, we're 4-3 in the conference, and it's easy to recruit when you do that. But, it might not be the season that we thought we would have, but at the end of the day, we have a bright future.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of wins, after the 62-14 win at Lincoln, the CIAA recognized 3 standout Vikings for their performance. And congratulations goes out to freshman Anton Chavis. He was selected as the offensive lineman of the week. Talk about his performance specifically on Saturday and his growth this season.
Well, this young man is the starting left tackle for our football team. He's a freshman. You know anything about football, the left tackle is the most important position on the field offensively, and he's done an excellent job of learning from Coach Manigo. I think Coach Manigo is one of the bright young coaches in our conference and in the country as far as teaching the kids what to do. He's just one of those kids that I say he was a steal. We did a great job of recruiting him. He loves Elizabeth City State University.
Yeah. Also, can't forget about Jamari Blake, special teams player of the week. We talked about it, 95-yard block field goal return. It was a highlight for this young man, and I'm sure he's one of the reasons why you feel so positive about special teams here at ECSU.
Yeah, I watched Mr. Blake grow, man. He's getting a lot more playing time at the defensive back position. He's worked hard. He started a couple games, and I just think that he's getting better and better each and every week. And he's from around this area, and you just love to see those kids, get these accolades, because I've had several phone calls from people from his area just saying they were so happy to see him getting recognized.
Yeah, we talked about the offensive line side, and on the opposite side, Drew Von Oxendine, he picked up Defensive Lineman of the Week honors. He forced a sack fumble, recovered one, had his hand in all 5 of those Lincoln fumbles that we talked about earlier. Just a strong performance from the sophomore out of New Bern.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong performance by him, and that's another young man that I have watched grow. Some things that he had problems with, starting up with the season. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was his attitude, working on his attitude, being a better team player, but he has done an excellent job. Shout out to him for listening and understanding what we want as a football team. But all in all, man, I'm just proud of all our football players and our coaching staff of how we've navigated this season. It's not been the greatest season we wanted, but I see growth.
Yeah, congratulations again to all of the Vikings. And, they'll travel to Bowie, Maryland for their 3rd straight road game against a 2-6 Bulldogs team this Saturday. They're coming off of a 24-7 loss to Virginia Union and only 1 touchdown in that game, but we can expect a hungry Bulldog team at their place. What else can we expect from Bowie State?
Well, we definitely expect a hungry football team. It's homecoming for them, and from my understanding, homecoming is very big for them, but we're a hungry football team too. We consider ourselves the homecoming crashers. Yeah. That's our motto. We want to go in there and get a win on their homecoming. Will it be easy? Absolutely not, but we're going to prepare to be winners on Saturday.
Seems like it's another one of those situations where a team chooses ECSU for their homecoming, and that has to rub you the wrong way. And I know you're using all of that as motivation to make sure this team is mentally focused and ready to go in there and spoil their homecoming game.
Oh, the motivation is definitely what we're motivated to go in there and steal it. Like I said, it won't be easy, but our mentality is to go in there and crash it.
Yeah. All of the momentum coming from the 62-14 win against Lincoln is a chance for you to build on that momentum. What do you and the coaching staff do here over these next practice sessions to make sure the guys stay locked in and continue that momentum moving forward in a big game on Saturday?
Well, continue to be creative on offense, continue to be creative on defense. We might run the same things, but different in a different formation. I think that's the biggest thing for your success. Like, you want to run some things and you want to master it, but you also got to be creative. I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan, and I think they have one of the best offensive coordinators in the country. And we kind of want to do those things, kind of get them confused and play with our toys on offense and defense. We just want to pin our ears back and play good, solid defense.
You would like the rushing attack to be a little bit stronger against Bowie on Saturday. What can you take from this past Saturday's game against Lincoln that'll help you kind of build that up and get it to where it needs to be? Because obviously the better the rushing game is, the better it is for our quarterback to find those receivers and do what he does.
Well, what's ironic is we talked about it. I felt like that we should have rushed the ball better on Saturday, and that's one of the things that we're keying on. We got to have a better outing run game-wise. We can't always just sit back there and throw the ball. So I challenged my offensive line. I challenged my offensive line coach to dial it up and get us in better situations where, we're not playing behind the sticks. Traquan Johnson has not had a 100-yard game in a while. And, that's what we wanted this week. But, he had 60-some yards. But I would love to see him get a nice home run, a big explosive play, a 60 to 80-yard touchdown. And that helps you out. Rush game wise.
Yeah, very much so. Hopefully it'll be strong this Saturday. It'll be also their senior day game at Bowie. Kickoff of that game is set for 1. And, of course, you can watch coverage of the game on the CIAA Sports Network. Coach, this is the time where I give you the microphone, get the Viking fans ready to go for this game against Bowie State. And I know a lot of Vikings are going to travel up to Maryland and take this game in. And we got a great alumni chapter up there in Maryland, too, that I'm sure is going to take care of our football team. Talk about your excitement for this game and what's to come on Saturday.
Well, we're excited about it. We know we have a big alumni chapter up there. We challenge you guys to come out out and support us. It's their homecoming. There's some rules and regulations that they're going by. You got to make sure you purchase your tickets well in advance. They will not be selling tickets the day of, but we just want you guys to come out there and enjoy Elizabeth City State football. I think we got a great brand. We're heading in the right direction, and like I've been telling all the alum all across the country that we're going to be nationally known sooner or later. You can mark my word on that.
Yeah, I believe it too. Again, Coach, thank you so much for making this show happen. Family, if you missed out on any parts of today's show, you want to catch up on past episodes of ECSU Football Insider, just go to the WRVS Podcast Network or check it out on our YouTube channel. Coach, congratulations on the win against Lincoln. Good luck coming up this Saturday. I look forward to catching up with you next week. And it's all about homecoming, and it should be a good one, especially if the Vikings can make it a 2-win game-winning streak going into that game.
Thank you so much, and Viking pride, Viking pride, Viking pride.
ECSU Football Insider is produced at WRVS Studios on the campus of Elizabeth City State University, powered by the ECSU Department of Radio and Television Services. Learn more online at WRVS899.com.